In the last 80 years, there has been a six-fold increase in U.S. corn yields. The gains are attributed primarily to better hybrids and the advent of chemical fertilizers. Weather, however, remains the key ingredient in agriculture's recipe for success, and in 2012, drought had a decidedly negative impact on the Corn Belt. USDA estimates a lack of precipitation caused last year's corn harvest to be nearly 20% less than the 2011 average of 147.2 bushels per acre. With corn at $6, even a 2-bushel per acre difference on a 300-acre farm can lead to a profit or loss of $3,600. While farmers can't control the weather, new technologies are enabling growers to maximize yields and minimize costs through the strict management of inputs.
If we just assume we know what we're doing in a field, we can go out and very accurately apply the wrong amount of anything anywhere if we didn't know any better.
Tracy Blackmer is the Director of Research for the Iowa Soybean Association, or ISA. Because the ISA's members raise soybeans and corn in rotation, the association funds over 30 research projects on both crops. Its goal is to find ways to increase yields and production efficiency while protecting the environment.
I don't know a farmer that wants to buy nitrogen that they're going to lose or don't need. But there's also a lot more regulations coming down to restrict how much you can apply. So the more we can collect more and more data, that will also have the impact not only of improving management, but perhaps influencing future policy and regulations on fertilizers. It would really help everybody. It would help the environment, it would help the government spending and efficiency, it would also help the profitability of the grower.
Thanks to yield monitors and GPS tracking, farmers can tell exactly what part of a field is producing well and where there is room for improvement. But those tools alone can't determine if more nitrogen is needed, where less nitrogen is needed, or if nitrogen is even a factor.
It's more of trying to put the dollar of fertilizer in the right place in the field and do a better job. I don't want to put more on than what I need to grow that crop, but I don't want to have a shortfall either.
To find out how he might realize increased yields while reducing input costs, Ken Lund, who farms 2,800 acres in central Iowa, enrolled both a corn and soybean field in the ISA's Nutrient Management Benchmarking Survey in 2011. More than 400 farmers enrolled over 900 fields to have their soil and crops analyzed for essential nutrients and a number of micronutrients. Because the data was shared by farmers across the state, growers could learn not only what was right or wrong in their fields, but also in their neighbors.
Growers aren't necessarily known for being neighborly and the biggest competitors within 50 miles. This is a project that's going the opposite way. This is where growers are working together. They're collecting that data, they're all benefiting from it, we're increasing profitability on it, and I believe that's one of the real competitive edge right now for U.S. Ag.
The first step in the Nutrient Management Benchmarking Survey involved digital aerial imagery, or DAI. Aerial photographs were taken of land enrolled in the survey to identify one non-stress and one target stress area in each field. Growers took soil samples and tissue samples from crops in each area so nutrient levels could be analyzed and compared.
This field's been continuous corn for 6 years now, and I'm interested to see what's going on a little more and is pattern tiled. It has tile every 40 feet in it. I'm concerned with what that's doing to my nutrients. The soybean field was just one of the representative fields of what I've got. It's a normal field. It's very representative of all of mine.
The study allowed farmers to select the fields they wanted enrolled in the program. It also offered growers latitude in selecting program areas under the assumption that nobody knows attractive land as well as the person who farms it.
When I went and took the soil samples and the leaf tissues, I did not go to a spot in the field that was real sandy, where I'd have those kind of issues. I tried to stay in a representative part of the field where the nutrients are going to make a difference.
As part of the program, growers met with other farmers in their area to compare notes, allowing participants to not only gain knowledge about their own farming practices, but to also gain insight as to what was or wasn't working for other farmers in the region. Since the study was statewide, it established a benchmark that will lead to a better understanding of how weather and soil types affect the uptake of macro and micronutrients. And there was the added benefit that it got growers out in the field taking tissue and soil samples, an important step towards better nutrient management.
And we need to take the whole leaf, and we need 15 of them. See, like.
If every grower did just one trial, in Iowa that would be over 40,000 trials to pick from. Most growers agree they can find at least one thing they can do better. But they're doing what they're doing because they think it's right or they wouldn't be doing it. How do you find that one thing better? So as we're getting down to the point of trying to fine-tune within a few bushels for each management practice, we're finding out a lot of the stuff we thought 20 years ago isn't necessarily true today with better information.
For Market to Market, I'm Paul Yeager.